Good morning, Activate My Life. My name is Madeline, and it is my amazing privilege to be presenting this webinar to you guys this morning. I'm on the Sunshine Coast. It's a very chilly morning on the Sunshine Coast. I'm also an occupational therapist by profession. Really love this space of health and wellness. And I was introduced to this company, these amazing products, about 4 years ago. Didn't know a thing about oxidative stress or gene activation. I thought anything with your genes, fiddling with your genes was very, very weird. But when I discovered the science of gene activation and how really simple it is to implement that in your daily life, how it can really up-level your potential, your functionality on a day-to-day basis, it really blew my mind. So I am so honored to have Candice with me today. Candice, if you can introduce yourself, unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about your background, because you are a physiotherapist, so you obviously also loved the health space, but what really got you intrigued into natural health?
Thank you so much, Madeline. Such an honor to be here with all of you guys this morning. So right now I'm living in Port Macquarie, originally from Canada. So I practice as a physiotherapist in Canada for over 20 years, and focus basically on pediatrics. So just helping healthy families get healthier, right? Helping families to get healthier. And I think it was my own personal journey in just understanding more of how we actually can just activate our body. Like you were saying, Madeline, all through my university training, I didn't realize that there was actually something we could do to affect the expression of our genes. I thought we were just kind of dealt those cards and we just had to deal with it. And so as back in October, when I was introduced to this concept of nutrigenomics, I was like, I didn't even know what that meant. I knew that a glass of wine, was my antioxidants, or maybe my, dark chocolate, but I didn't really know that oxidative stress led to so many different diseases and how researched it's being, all over the world. And that we could do something about it that's so simple. So it was, it's been amazing.
So important what you're saying, because I remember when I was introduced, I kind of rolled my eyes because I was using so many supplements. So can you for a minute explain the difference between using supplements and activating your cells?
Yes, absolutely. So I was the same. So I had my own personal health journey over the last pretty much 7 years, where I had come out of burnout and literally had burned the candle at both ends. And so I was trying to do everything I knew how to do to get myself as healthy as possible. And I was really skeptical of supplements because as a physio, I had so many people come and ask me my professional opinion on this, that, and everything else. And there was so much rubbish out there. There's so many things that were masquerading as something that looked like the marketing made it look amazing, but there was no evidence behind it. There was, hidden ingredients and all sorts of stuff. And so when I moved to Australia in 2014, I actually was desperate. I really needed something. And so same thing, I started taking all these supplements and thinking, okay, I'm going to add this and that. And, these were the best of the best of the best quality supplements that I could find. And it still wasn't enough. I was still aging faster than I felt comfortable. I felt, 60 and I was only turning 47. And I went, okay, there has to be another solution. And that's when I got introduced to this concept of activation, which actually is something so simple and it's completely natural, grounded in science, and yet it activates our body's own youth pathways to feel more like we did when we were 20, when we had that bulletproof feeling that, we were invincible, to have the energy all day, to sleep really well, to just have that confidence that, we don't have to take this aging thing lying down, that we can activate what our immune systems, what our cells were actually given, those blueprints in our cells, we can actually activate them in order to do more of what they were created to do in the first place, so that we can actually, stay healthy, stay strong, stay in the game, do what we're called to do. So.
Absolutely. I love it. And when we think about this concept of biohacking, it really is all about biohacking the aging code.
Yes.
So, and I loved what you mentioned about feeling bulletproof when you're 20. I felt that way, same way too. And then I remember turning 30 and I thought, oh my goodness, if I feel like this at 30, what is it going to be like when I'm 80?
Yes.
So can you elaborate a little bit on that concept? Because I know for a lot of people, aging is all about gray hair and wrinkles. And people think, I'll wait for that until I'm 60 or 70 and then I'll address those.
Yeah.
What can we do about the aging process, and when would be a good time to start intervening?
Right now.
Yesterday.
Yesterday is even better. Yeah. So one of the things I didn't understand, and again, all through my university training, 6 years of university, physiology, neurophysiology, all these things, they didn't actually unpack for me the concept that I now understand, that aging starts when we're like 25, or even younger, because we're constantly being bombarded by things in our world that our bodies weren't created to deal with. So, we could look at things like, how they, put stuff in our water, how they, put herbicides and pesticides on our food, how we're, constantly surrounded and our bodies are being bombarded by Wi-Fi signals. All of these things were not, around way back when our bodies were created to just do what they were meant to do. And so the natural aging process, by 2025, we're already starting to age at the cellular level. And so, how do we stop that accelerated aging, which was what was happening for me and happening for you and happening for so many other people I know, where, we're turning 30 and we're feeling like we're turning 50, or, and understanding why do we actually experience that. And it's that the cellular enzymes, what our bodies are producing to help keep us healthy and fit and able to be strong, actually start to decline at a much faster rate these days because we are living in this toxic world. And so how do we actually, combat that naturally? How do we, take control and actually feel empowered to do something about that? So.
Absolutely. I know an example that really puts it into perspective for me is when I think about athletes, because athletes are doing a lot of things right. They are exercising, they are most often sleeping well, they are surrounding themselves by great and happy and vibrant people. They have great nutrition. But if you think about athletes, they peak around the age of 2025. It is just that way, that a 40-year-old, a 50-year-old is not going to have the same performance as a 20-year-old. So it's such a tangible example to me that something is happening on a cellular level. And often when we think about ourselves, because we are so conditioned to look at the outside, you think about yourself and how you look. And if you really think about the body, if you break yourself down, you can break it into systems. And the systems into organs, and eventually the smallest functional portion of you is the cell, and you need to look after your cells.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love Dr. Silverman actually gave this example of, we have these really, cars, whether it's, an inexpensive car or like a Bentley, and how do we look after those cars? Do we just keep driving them and driving them and driving them and assume that they're actually going to stay, optimally functioning? Or do we take them in and we get them serviced regularly? Do we clean the oil? Do we, maintain that at the integrity of how the car needs to run? Right? We look after that. But so often we don't think about our cells being dirty. We don't think about how we actually can do that cleaning at that cellular basis. We just assume that, like you said, we just can keep on keeping on. And it's like,
yeah, that's incredible. So we have touched a little bit on the NRF2 pathway, which is the pathway that helps you to upregulate the NRF2 gene so that you can make your antioxidants. But there's also another pathway called the NRF1. And can you explain a little bit more about the importance of upregulating your mitochondria?
Yeah, so I think of it like a little battery in our mobile phones, right? So as our mobile phones get older, the battery doesn't hold as much charge. And so for me, it's, you're using it, and halfway through the day, suddenly you have to plug it in again and recharge it. And I think when I think about our mitochondria, which are the little batteries inside our cells, and we have millions and millions and millions and millions of them, as we age, those mitochondria have that same effect. They continue to decline. They get clogged up. They get dirty. They get, how do we say? It's like they're impaired function. So they're no longer able to produce the energy that our cells need, which means they're no longer producing the energy our whole body needs to function. So the NRF1 pathway actually is activating those mitochondria to regenerate, to restore, to get them back to being able to function as they were created to do so for us. So
that is an absolutely amazing analogy. I'm going to use that analogy in the future because it's so tangible when you get a phone, and it really holds charge well, and that really changed over time. So Candice, you as a healthcare practitioner, I assume when you were introduced with the products, with the science, you didn't take it lightly. You must have gone into the research. I want to know, where did you go to find credible research, and what did you find?
So one of the things that I noticed when I went onto PubMed, so PubMed is like the library where, it's actually really difficult to get studies published on PubMed. I think there's something like 1,000, studies that are submitted, and there's maybe one that's published on PubMed. It's a huge filtering process to actually get the best of the best of the best that show up on PubMed, because that's where people go. That's where doctors go and health professionals go to actually validate what it is that they're looking at for treatment, they're looking at for prevention. And when I went onto there and I just literally looked at oxidative stress, I think there's well over 250,000 articles just looking at oxidative stress. And then I looked up NRF2 and I was like, okay, so what is this NRF2 pathway that I've never heard of in all of my years of being a health professional? And again, blew me away how many thousands of studies were on NRF2 and this pathway that most medical professionals never even heard of. And yet now that I know what it does, I've heard, so many doctors and nurses and other health professionals say it feels like malpractice to not tell our patients, to not tell our loved ones that we can actually activate this pathway that is going to help generate millions and millions of antioxidants to help combat that aging process. Totally naturally, which is, incredible. So, and I think there was 26, I think there might be 27 studies on actual protandim, which is unbelievable to think that there is natural product being put on there that's being studied by, University of Washington, by Louisiana State University, Harvard, Mayo, University of Montreal, like huge universities, American Heart Association. So they're spending their money to actually investigate this product, and they're coming out with such profound conclusions. And one of them that I just wrote down the quote. It was by Washington State University in 2015, and this really caught my attention. It says NRF2 is the most extraordinary breakthrough in the history of health. History of health. Like, to make that statement, I was like, okay, you have my attention. You had me at hello. What do I need to know more about? How do I get this for myself and for people I know and I love? So
absolutely. You can drop the mind blown emoji in the chat, because that's exactly how I felt, to have a product that is feasible, natural, that is researched by independent companies, and not only on the individual ingredients, but the actual blend. Yeah. That is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. So moving on to the business side of things, I know that you were looking for something to do in the wellness space, but why did you align with this specific profession? And what was really that factor that allowed you to say, I'm going to do this as a business because I reach people? You mentioned as a healthcare practitioner feeling that obligation to share this with as many people as possible, and I felt like that as well. But I want to know from your end, what was your process?
I think for me, just stepping back a little bit, one of the things is, we can try and do things on our own every single day, and we can try and do them really, really well. So I know exercise is good for me, so I want to exercise every single day. Do I? Not necessarily. I know eating organic, beautiful, whole foods is excellent. Do I do that every single day? No, I don't, right? We try, but there's, life happens. I can know that I can take this every single day. Every single day. It's so simple. It's one tablet. And I know that I know that I know that it is actually going to be optimizing what my body needs every single day. So when I looked at how do I actually share this with people that I know, because as a health professional, I went into physio, I made that decision back when I was 19 years old to say, I want to help people. What is the greatest platform that I know that I can actually reach, as many people as I can? And at that point, I looked at, I love kids and I love health and I'm passionate. So I want to really jump in and do this. And I was all in and loved it, loved my profession. But when I moved to Australia, I couldn't get registered as a physio, despite, years and years of, practice and owning our own clinic. And so as I started to look at this as a business opportunity back in October, November of 2020, looking at what's happening in the world, I was like, wow, people really, really, really need to understand that they have the potential in their hands to put this in their mouth, swallow it, and activate millions of antioxidants that our bodies are created to produce to literally not just combat aging, but to fight anything that comes into contact with us. Any viruses, any flus, any, just general, things that try and attack our bodies. We, whether it's just sleep deprivation, right? We need to be able to function optimally to do what we need to do in these, crazy days that we're living in. And so how do I do that? And the best platform I found when I found this was to be able to jump in as a distributor and actually say, I need to be able to find other like-minded, like-hearted people that want to share hope with people around them, that want to be able to say, hey, how do I, take ownership of my health? What is a part of my health strategy that I know that I can do 100% every single day? And so, but as a health professional, I recognize this is a network marketing. And I was like, I haven't seen that done really well. I'm a little bit, cautious about that. So I started to look into the company. And when I realized that it's a publicly traded company, it's actually on the NASDAQ, which I was like, it's on the NASDAQ. It's, super solid. It started in science. It started in a research lab. And then it moved into this as a goal of being able to literally just reach more people all around the planet. It's governed by a board. It's not just, a couple of guys who decided, hey, we need something that we can sell. This is a platform that allows us to link arms with people. Literally, I think we're in 24, soon to be 25, 26 countries around the world, that we can actually then share this hope with people to take that, put it in their hand, and that they can actually make a viable income doing what they love, doing what they can, they're passionate about to help other people get healthier and feel well. And honestly, financial health is one of the things that I am noticing more and more and more people are really, really struggling with. And for them to be able to recognize they can do this as a business on the side, anywhere, anytime. If you have a mobile phone, you actually can do this as a business and be able to just get paid to share hope, to tell, your story, to tell other people's stories of how this has made such a miraculous, in many cases, transformation in their health from, where they were to where they are now. And that just gives hope. And that helps the person in front of them to be able to go, what if that could work for me? And the company is super generous in actually saying, I want, because they're not paying advertising, they're not paying big overhead, for these to be in stores, they're actually, investing back in the people that are doing what, we are doing and what we're passionate about. And, I often say it's like you go to a movie and you leave the movie and you're like, oh my gosh, that was the best movie ever. I need to tell everyone. But the people who made the movie aren't paying me to tell anybody, but they're getting, more and more benefit from me sharing with, 100 people that they need to go and see this movie, go see Wonder Woman or, right? So.
Absolutely. I love what you mentioned. This company and the science truly ticks all of the boxes. Oh. It is just what everyone is looking for. And I remember when I started 4 years ago, we didn't have all of this craziness in the world, but now I can see that it is so beneficial. And everyone essentially wants to be a biohacker. People want to take control of their own health. So what a better way to really leave an impact in the world. So Candice, if there's anyone listening and thinking, okay, so great for you, you're a physio, but I'm not, what would you say to them?
Wow. If you are on the other side of that screen right now and you are watching and your heart is beating and you are breathing and you are listening to this, you are able to do exactly what Madeline and I are doing. And that is just literally sharing hope that we have the capacity, using a completely all natural, you know, 5 herbs that synergistically work together, are 18 times more powerful than any of those 5 herbs alone can be. To be able to literally just share that with the person in front of you, to share that with your neighbor, to share that, with the people in your world, right? We had, a carpet guy over and his back's bad and his knees are bad, and just not as a physio, but as a human being, I was like, I just had compassion on this person and said, what if this is something that could actually radically change the quality of your life? Do you want to have a look, right? And so it just gives you the confidence that you have, this, what do you call it? Like, basically you have confidence in the integrity, in the science, and in the quality of what this company has put together. And you get to join and link arms with like-minded, like-hearted people. And as a team, we are actually all in this together, which I really, really love the culture of this community. Even though there's people literally from all different avenues of what they choose to do, as their day job per se, or they've done as their profession. But because they're so passionate about the fact that we have access to put our hands on something that can impact the expression of our genes, it doesn't matter, where you literally are skilled. If you, can share about a great movie that you saw or a great restaurant that you ate at, you can easily do this as well as a distributor, and really change the world with us for the better.
100%. I believe if you can share about movies, why not share about something that can impact so many lives? And I remember for myself, when I started, I have 4 kids. I was working full time and I thought, oh my goodness, where am I going to fit all of this in? Because my mindset from previous experience setting up my medical practice was, oh my goodness, this is hard work. There's so much work that you need to do behind the scenes and you need to figure everything out. And then when I started with this company, I thought, is this even real? Because this is like a turnkey franchise. Everything is there. It's already designed. There's websites, there's Facebook groups. It's just plug and play. And we love to play.
We do. We love to play. And there's just so much training. There's so much that you don't have to create the wheel. You just I love how you said that. You just plug and play. You just literally come on board and literally just link arms and say, hey, I just want to be able to share this with the people in my world. And it just goes from there, which is so exciting.
Absolutely. In closing, Candice, I want to know from your perspective, where do you see the future of this company?
Oh, wow. We've just begun. I think somebody said, we're a $250 million company that hardly anybody has heard of, right? And really, I truly believe that this is something that needs to be shared with every single person on the planet. And so people are waking up to understanding, like you said, that we actually can do something that is going to be able to impact our health, that we have to take ownership of our own health strategy. And how do we do that? And that's what this platform has offered for us to, everything is online. You don't have to carry stock. You don't have to manage customer, different things. There's a customer support line. You literally just introduce them to the product and they love it and they stay on it and they are so grateful that you introduce them to that. And so I just see this company just going, from strength to strength to strength to strength as it continues to just grow in people's understanding of what capacity we have here, looking at the science, even just since I've joined. Oh my goodness, like Elliot, Dr. Joe McCord got the Elliott Crescent Medal back in 1997. That same medal was renamed, I think it was the Benjamin Franklin Medal, and the researchers that did our NRF1 got that same award. I think it was in 2000, I can't remember. Anyways, it was sometime in 2005 maybe or something. And you just think, wow, like they're literally on this cutting edge breakthrough science that is completely grounded in this quality assurance program that is you just have, no, there's no hesitancy in being able to actually feel confident in just sharing this. So yeah, it's going to be huge.
Absolutely. I got goosebumps listening to you, because I thought about that day when Joe McCord and his team discovered the NRF2 activator and what they might have felt. They might have felt, oh my goodness, this is the best thing, we struck gold.
Yes.
But what happened after that is some of the companies, some of the universities came to the company and said, we've done research and studies on this product in relation to skin health, and we recommend that you bring out a skincare system. And what followed was NRF1, and we've got a hair care system, and we even have a pet product, because animals also have oxidative stress. So when you are saying we are just getting started, it is 1000% true. This company is just getting started, because we will never stop to pursue science and find better ways to optimize human potential, and all natural. The integrity of this company is absolutely incredible, the way that they formulate products and do it in a very sustainable way.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
Candice, I want to thank you. Our time is up. If there's anyone listening, if you need to find more information about the science, about the products, about the research studies, please go back to the person that invited you into this group. We'll be more than willing to support you in those questions. And just in closing, we do not claim to heal, cure, prevent, medicate, diagnose any disease, but it will be a significant impact and investment in your health and in your life to just take the time and research these products, because it is truly life transformational. Thank you so much, Candice. Really appreciate your time, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.